Getting into the car rental industry, a lot of people think that they gotta have their own cars. They think they gotta have this certain car, that certain car, but it's a lot of ways to get different cars. And social currency is so heavy. You can have cars without having cars. I got cars that don't have ownership of, but I got possession of them. Just
Right.
build off the relationships that I build. A lot of people don't focus on the relationship that's possible to build, and then they shorten their possibilities. You know what I mean?
All these whips, I feel like Mitch.
What's up with it, man? It's the boy Pushmanmitch, the host of the No Fluff podcast. We back again with another episode. I got my little brother, my big brother, the real run plays with me, a.k.a. Sean Mitch, a.k.a. the boy with the real fluffy collar, but he don't keep no fluff. Let's get it, boy. What's happening with
Hey,
it?
what's good, bro?
What's good, man? Thank you for coming on the show. I know you're
sir.
real busy. I know you're busy
Yes,
running
sir.
businesses and doing your thing in 2022. It's 2022, Brody.
It is.
What's the new vibes? What you got going on? What's cooking up?
Hey man, I'm trying to enlighten people on how they really supposed to start their businesses, the different things that they need to know. I mean, it's a lot of things that go into it that people don't even think about. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it is. The daily operations, right? Everybody just think you start a business and start making money, but they don't think about what they got to do every day to make that business make
Every
money.
day, every day.
And that's what you talk about all the time.
Yes, indeed.
So that's why, where you get this run plays with me shit from? What's up with that?
I mean, look, when you running plays, everybody want to run plays. I want people to be able to run plays with me, but it's a thing that people can say for themselves. You know what I mean? So people can run plays with them. I'll just try to bring as much value as I can to each play that I'll try to run with anybody, no matter who it is.
Okay, cool. So let's just talk about the drip before we get into anything else, nigga. You fly as shit. You got tattoos all over the place. And we know you got a lot of ladies. So let's talk about this swag. Like, what influences your style?
I mean, I guess I just dress how I feel, and that's just I like to express myself through different things. Maybe my hairstyle, the way I put clothes on, jeans I wear today, different sneaks. You know what I mean? It don't even matter if things match. If it match for me, I'll rock with it.
So you're wearing some bullshit that don't match. That's what you trying to say.
I wouldn't call it bullshit just because it don't match to you.
All right.
But
okay.
if it matches things that I'm trying to put out there, then it is what it is.
All right. So for those of y'all who don't know, this is my actual brother. This is my blood brother. And he got all the flyness. He always got all the swag. Before I could get chicks, I was in my ugly phase. My brother was already pulling women and shit. So really, if you think about how the older brother is supposed to teach the little brother, I learned from my little brother how to get chicks. You feel me? He was like, remember my first girlfriend? You gave her to me.
Yeah.
He literally gave me my first girlfriend. Y'all know how that works? Let me explain how it works. It was a chick. She followed me on Instagram right now. So if you're watching, we passed you. No, I'm just joking. Nah, but real shit. So look, so my brother, it was a girl. She liked basically both of us probably, but she liked my brother more because clearly he's flyer. So my brother was like, yeah, you know, I would talk to her. I was going to talk to her. She liked me. And I was like, let me get her, bro, please. Like, I'm begging. I'm like, let me get her. You know what I'm saying? And he was like, I really don't like to do this, but you can have her, bro. So he gave her to me, and then she became my girlfriend. And then that was all she wrote. Her name started with a J. I won't say her real name because she could possibly be watching this. I haven't talked to her since then. I'm just saying, but she is following me on social media. And my little brother gave me to her. And then let me tell you this nasty shit this girl did. My brother was eating a lollipop. My brother was eating a lollipop, and he gave it to her, and she took it and put it right in her mouth. Disgusting. I should have broke up with her right then. She liked my brother too much, man. That shit crazy. But she's my girlfriend for a minute. Her name started with a J. My brother ended up talking to her friend, whose name also was the exact same name. And we both had girls with the same name for like a few months, right?
All right.
Hell yeah. But thank you for that, bro. You set up some momentum for me to be able to be the young player from the Himalayas I am today. Now I got full confidence, all because my little brother gave me a chick. Thank you, bro.
You're welcome, man. That's the reason you got full confidence.
Yeah. That's just the reason I got full confidence. I don't got diamond grills and shit like that. I gotta. You see how I wanted to dress this way on this specific episode so they can see the reality between the swags. Like me, I'm a square, so I wear collar shirts and shit, straight skinny legs. You got missing parts of your jeans, and you got the mismatched denims and the real coolness. That's why chicks gravitate towards you because you like different. So let's talk about the tattoos on your hands. What do they mean? Why do you got so many tattoos? Explain that.
I mean, I always been into tattoos. My first tattoo, as you know, you got the first one with me as well.
I know. How old was he?
We was 13, 14.
Jesus
We got our
Christ.
first tattoos. I would have picked a different tattoo if
Yeah,
it
we
was
got
my
forced
choice,
into
but
it.
we got forced into getting our names. But I mean, all my tattoos are very expressive. I got the lion on my right hand that represents the pride that I always have, and I try not to be ruled by my pride. And I got Medusa because I ain't trying to be ruled by lust for women. You know what I mean? She turned every man into stone that look at her. You know what I mean?
Damn, I didn't even know that. That's a dope ass way to pick tattoos. Me normally, I just like flip a coin on top of a fucking tattoo book, and then whatever one it land on, I be like, that's the one. Give me some koi fish. You feel me? That's kind of how I pick my shit. But you, man, that's dope, bro. You always been that type of person though. Like that's why I admire about you. But you used to do tattoos, so. Talk about, now you in the business. Now you running all of our businesses that we have together. You running your own businesses. So talk about the transition from being a tattoo artist and to doing all of the shit that you do.
I mean, the transition, as a tattoo artist, you are an entrepreneur. That's probably the first things that I started doing and I was doing as an entrepreneur. You got to make your own schedule. You got to decide what you want to do, your abilities, and be real about your abilities. Because, some people just be out here just trying to do any type of tattoo when they aren't even capable of it. So it helped me realize, you got to know exactly what you bring to the table on each thing that you do. You know what I mean? That's it. And that's what I took from doing tattoos and put it into the businesses that we got,
Damn, so that's dope. But you also not no rookie when it comes to businesses. So like me in particular, I didn't finish college. I dropped out of college immediately. You got how many degrees?
I got 2 master's degrees, one in business administration, focusing econ, and then one in education.
So you know what the fuck you talking about, really.
Yeah,
And most people just kind of act like they know what they talking about, like me. Like I didn't go to school for it. I just learned in the field. You got learning experience in the field, and you got experience in school. So you got the best of both worlds, and you got a lot of school loans.
Right, I do.
So you owe a lot of bread.
Yes.
You done with school?
Yeah, I'm done for now. But I have been thinking about going back and, finishing.
You want to be a
out.
doctor?
Yeah, Dr. Run plays with me. Sounds pretty good, doesn't it?
That'd be dope. And like nobody gonna ever think you a PhD because you got the tattoos and shit.
Right.
But really you're gonna be walking around, jumping out of Lambos, Rolls Royces, tattoos everywhere, whatever you want, nose piercing, and then you're a PhD. And then they gonna be like, Mr. Mitchell, oh doctor, sorry. Don't make that mistake. Don't let me let you hear that again. You feel me? Or we're gonna have some problems out here.
Dr. Mitchell, baby.
Yeah, Dr. Mitch. Damn, that's gonna be hard. Then you can change your name on Instagram to Dr. Mitch or Dr. Run Plays With Me.
Yeah,
That shit'd be hard as
That'd
hell.
be dope.
All right, so let's talk about your upbringing, bro. Let's talk about your upbringing. I know about it, but they don't know about it. But I'm your older brother. You grew up with me. So tell us about how you felt growing up, where we came from, and tell us a couple stories.
Growing up where I came from, we from Philly, so we was in the hood. Luckily, my mom was able to marry somebody that was in the Army and got us out of the city. Even though we came back a couple of times, we still was able to leave. And we ended up coming to Georgia and being able to experience something different. Luckily, we got to experience different countries as well because we did live in Germany for a while. Being able to be a part of these different type of places really molded us. And I know it molded both of us because everybody that we know from Philly or our cousins and everything, it's a certain mentality that everybody live by. We was able to get out of these mentalities, get out of these different environments, and be able to mold ourselves differently. Lucky I had you and you had me. We was able to bounce things off of each other all the time.
Nah, that's one thing I can always say, bro. Everybody don't got the luxury of having a brother and best friend, the same thing, the embodiment of it. Like everybody don't get to have that. So anytime I ever I needed help to do anything, you always helped me out. You always was there for me forever for anything that I did. And mostly everything that I did, you would do too. Right. So we always would get double the experience. I would be doing some shit to the left, you would do some shit to the right, and we just combine and kind of, bounce ideas. So that's always worked out for us. A lot of people don't have that luxury. You ever think about that? Like even when we teaching people, we like, yo, you could do this, but we always had like each other,
right?
Too,
right.
So that's we kind of got a little handicap there, you know what I'm saying, when it comes to that. But you, man, you always been more like resourceful than me. Like you always been able to build shit. I don't like to build nothing, so my brother even can cook. So let me tell you, one time I had a dinner with one of my joints. And I told her, I was like, yeah, I could cook real good. I got you, girl. I'll make you a homemade dinner. And my brother just cooked it for me. You feel what I'm saying? And then I served it to her. She was like, damn, you could cook good as hell. I was like, you better know it. You feel me? So that's how dope it is to have a brother. Only thing that could have been even better is we was like identical twins, because then we could switch out classes and shit. Because my brother was always book smart, man. I always struggled in school.
I ain't gonna say you struggle. You just really ain't. You really didn't
I
care
didn't
to do
care
the work.
about it.
That's
But
all.
I struggled in school though because I didn't care about it. And you always had no problem with school. So if we could like switch classes and shit, and then we could just go both play hoop because I could play ball, you could play ball. But I was just struggling in school the whole time.
Yeah.
We gotta be able to switch up, man. We gotta go ahead and then teleport. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that would have been lit, but then we'd have been dependent on that. You know
yeah.
what I
So
mean?
what? That would have been dope.
So we'd have had one life rather than our own separates.
Oh, so you think what's
Yeah.
that movie called? Prestige?
That's what it's called, Prestige?
Yeah, you ever seen the movie Prestige? The movie Prestige is about these two. They're like magicians,
Right.
and they two magicians, but they both in competition with each other, and they get trying to do the best trick.
Oh, yeah.
And one of them lives a whole life. He committed to his act so well, he had an identical twin. That they literally they share to commit to the trick. They share their whole entire life, not just on stage. They like literally one has a little bit of time with their family. They share the same wife, everything. So that you could never get their trick. They would do a teleportation trick. It's crazy.
Nobody knew what they
And
were
nobody
doing.
would ever know. And they committed to it so hard. If one of them got a finger cut off, the other one would have to cut the finger off. Like they committed to it. They shared the same wife. So the wife would be like, one of them really loved the wife and one of them just had to tolerate her. And the other one had a whole nother woman that he liked. And they both had to sleep with each other's wives, or chicks and stuff like that. It was crazy. But it was a real good movie. So if you haven't seen Prestige, we could have been like The Prestige. But except for not that serious because it ain't that damn serious. We gonna share. We gonna have our own girls.
Right.
You feel me? So all right, cool. So now you running the businesses, man. You're doing the daily operations of the rental car business, Airbnb business. You're doing a lot of different companies, right? So tell us about some plays that people can run right now that they can make some money.
I mean, all right, so getting into the car rental industry, a lot of people think that they got to have their own cars. They think they got to have this certain car, that certain car, but it's a lot of ways to get different cars. And social currency is so heavy, you can have cars without having cars. I got cars that I don't even have ownership of, but I got possession of them. Just build off the relationships that I build. A lot of people don't focus on the relationship that's possible to build, and then they shorten their possibilities. You know what I mean?
Right. So we just got a Cullinan.
Right.
Right. So how did that happen? Explain that deal.
All right. So one of our renters who he calls me all the time because he's interested in getting into the game. He has a Jeep that he wanted to get into the game. We was talking about the Jeep. Turns out he had access to a Cullinan, and I told him, we can run that play together, and I can make money off your Cullinan just sitting in the garage, just collecting dust, because that's literally what it's doing.
Crazy. So Cullinans go for about how much a day?
Cullinans go from anywhere from $1,700 to $2,200 a day.
$2,200 a day. So now, working in a deal like that, how do you structure a deal where somebody else owns the car, and you're going to charge it on your money on top, or how's it work? Break it down.
Right. So everybody do it differently, but my joint ventures, we do 60-40. I get 60, you get 40. I get 60 because I already got my own clientele, I already got my own business set up, so I'm gonna have more traffic for the car than you are, and you ain't gotta do nothing. You ain't gotta, you know what I mean? I'm gonna be working the deal. I'm gonna be doing everything. All you doing is just providing the car, sitting back and collecting cash.
So that makes it to where it's rightfully so that you get more money than they get.
Yeah.
Right? Because a lot of owners, when we first started out in the game, we didn't do it that way.
We didn't.
We started doing it like, you tell me what you want to make per day, we'll charge our money on top, and we'll eat on the top. Right?
Yeah.
But what we found is that we should not be getting paid less than a person that is doing nothing. Literally, it would be no reason for us to have our business. We would just go ahead and get cars and give them to people then too.
Correct.
Because I can just get a whole bunch of cars and just hand somebody some keys and then just go chill on the beach.
And I'm making
while my
money.
cars is just making a whole bunch of money. But what you'll find is that we got to do the daily operations. We got to motherfucking call people. We got to be not sleeping that night worrying about if the cars is where they supposed to be at. Got to clean and wash them, keep the maintenance up, make sure the rims is good, make sure the car is going back to the owner the same way they gave it to us.
Yes, indeed.
So it's a lot of work. It's not like a little bit of work, especially when it comes to the exotic car space. So there's no reason for me to take this risk, use my 7 years book of business, you and all of these clientele that we've built up. Why would I sit there and do advertisements, pay for advertisements, and have all of these things happening for this vehicle that I don't own and I don't have more equity in it or more, profit coming from that?
Correct.
So it didn't make sense. So we switched up our business model, and it's not like we had to take less cars. We got more people want to give cars to us. So it's not the fact that they're not willing to pay it, because it's passive to them, and they got to understand that. But a lot of people don't know how to break that down.
They don't.
To a customer, because customers think that they're your boss, When they're like, oh yeah, I got a car for you. I'm gonna bring you this Lamborghini. I'm like, okay, good. You know, what I mean, I'll take it if you want to give me 60-40. If not, I'm good. I'm gonna sleep like a baby tonight. So they think they doing you a favor by handing you keys, but they not. So I had to understand that. We had to come to that conclusion together, and we changed up the business model, and we still got, you know, hella joint ventures that we get into with exotic cars, and we make a lot of money, and our customers are happy, and our the person who does the deal with us is happy.
Yes, indeed.
So that's all it's about. You know, so what else is cooking up, man? I know you got an ebook out. So what's up with that?
I got an ebook out, you know, hacking the rental car industry. You know, it lets you know how to get into the game, everything that you need to know to get your business started. And it helps you start off the right way. A lot of us start off the wrong way, and then we get behind on things because we don't know. So it lets you know everything so you won't have no surprises. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And that's what I want people to do. A lot of people to stop trying to get mentors or stop trying to get information before and they just go and do it, which it could work out for you. But to stop running into a lot of mistakes, you got to get mentorship. You got to get knowledge. It's called preparation. And when you prepare for things, it don't shock you. It don't hurt your feelings. It don't hurt your morale. You know what I mean?
And you can't pay for experience. At the end of the day, it is what it is. I can try to pump fake and teach y'all anything I want to, but if I don't have no experience in it, it's going to come to the light. When you get to mentorship with somebody, you actually get their experience. Fuck the curriculum.
Right.
Yo, when that shit happens right there, that happened to me before. So this is what I had to do. I can tell you that. You could pay for my mistake. Now, if somebody doesn't have that experience, they can't really tell you what to do. They're going to be just as lost as your ass. Mm-hmm. I had students that literally took my course, wanted to start their own mentorship, and took my mentorship too. And then every time one of their students asked them a question, they try to call me. Hey, yo, man, one of my other... No, that's not what my mentorship for. You meet me only on Wednesdays. We're going to talk on that day. Right. And then the whole time, you got a whole list full of questions that your mentee's asking you. So you can be able to elaborate. The students are going to be able to know by the second time. You got to say, let me get back to you next week.
All right.
You feel me? So we got to start understanding that that's the difference between, you know, a person who's really a mentor and a person who's just literally trying to be an influencer, right? I don't want to be that. I want to be a person that really can help guide you along the way. And that's what you do, too, because you've been really working in the field. Mm-hmm. A lot of people could say, there's a lot of people we know. It's a lot of people who act like they're in the rental car business, but they're not. It's a lot of people that was in the rental car business for 5 seconds, and they jumped out, and then they're not even really in the game. Right. So they don't know the changes. They don't know what's going on. They don't know how insurance plays work. They don't know all of these new things that are happening. Even like us, we just got a call from the CPA. Mm-hmm. Now we got to make sure that we charge the taxes on top of our rentals.
Fees.
Well, we didn't have to do that prior to this. We didn't have to.
Yeah, they made it mandatory.
They made it mandatory this year. So that's the type of things that you can't just get from a person who doesn't know, who's not actively in the game, because your expertise stops with them. And me, for us to become the experts, we had to go through a whole bunch of mistakes. Right. So tell us about the craziest thing you've seen since we've been in the rental car game.
I mean, it's a lot of different crazy things that happen to us. I mean, people rent the cars and then they give it to their girlfriend. I mean, their girlfriend rent the car from, then they give it to their man. Their man dip off on the girlfriend, contract in the girlfriend name. So she responsible for everything, but now we don't know where the car at. Don't have no contact on the car.
It's crazy.
Yeah, that's why we make sure everything got trackers in it so we can know exactly where car is at. We push a button, the car stop wherever it's at. We good money.
Facts.
Mm-hmm.
No, you know, chicks is so crazy. That was a red light. That's like a red flag for us.
Yep.
So every time a girl calls after a guy has just called for a car, we already know. Red flag. Make sure, because they're going to come what they do too. They're not even coming to pick the car up by themselves. I can almost 100% guarantee every time a woman calls to get an exotic car, every time, after a man, this is literally the chain of events. A dude calls the phone. Hey, man, I'm just looking for Cullinans, whatever. Oh, yeah, we got Cullinans. Okay, cool. How much the Cullinans is? All right, it's $2,500 a day. All right, bet. Is it a deposit? Yeah, it's a deposit. It's $2,500. Okay, cool. Bet. 5 minutes later. Hey, I'm trying to see if y'all got any Cullinans available. Mm-hmm. Available for the same exact dates as that person just asked for. And now that girl's going to come with a guy, and he don't got no license. He don't got no insurance. He just got the cash. She got the insurance. She got a license. So guess what they're going to do? They're going to rent the car in her name, and they're going to slide on her. She's going to get mad. She's going to say, I don't know what's going to happen in the car. She's going to call us. There's nothing we can do at this point. But when this happens, we automatically taking her deposit and everything. We know that. We already know we kill switching the car. We got to go repossess the car. So we had to make a policy within our within our business to say anytime that happens, we don't rent the car out. Mm-hmm. No matter what happens, that car will not go out. Mm-hmm. You get what I'm saying? For those times, because we got to know that they're going to be sending people to try to get it done.
And they make it easy for you though. So when they call, they get all the information, they get all the schematics about the rental, and then then they call and say, oh yeah, my boyfriend called. So they tell them themselves from the get go, and then we tell them our policy, we can't rent to you. I'm sorry at this time. It just make it easier on us and save us from a headache. You know what I mean?
Right, exactly. So that's the thing. And then always make sure y'all keep a book of business. So when they call, when those numbers call, when those names call, take their names, take their numbers. So now when they call again, you got them. You get what I'm saying? When they try to text on behalf of their friend, we got them. You know what I mean? So a lot of people, there's going to always be a person that he's always getting the car, but he get other people to rent it for him. So I got a couple people who I know. They always call in, hey, yo, I need this whip. And then another dude pulls up and he gets the car, right? Mm-hmm. But he never gets on cars on his behalf because he doesn't have insurance or license. This is going to cause trouble for you if y'all get in an accident and you need to get a claim done. This person doesn't have no license, insurance. Now you're trying to get it covered with a person driving the car. You're trying to prove that they were the permissible driver to drive it, and it's very hard to get a claim paid out. So instead of doing all of that, make sure every single customer that ever tries to rent a car from you has a valid license, valid insurance. Make sure you call into the insurance company prior to them taking a vehicle and say, yo, does this customer have transferable insurance to a rental car? They're going to say yes, or they're going to say no. If they say yes, you say, hey, look, how much is the property damage coverage? You want to make sure that it's more than the price of the car. So if you got a Cullinan, it better be $300,000, $400,000. If you got a Lambo, it better be $300,000. If not, when it's time to pay out that claim, they're going to pay out the max limits of that policy. And then who's responsible for the rest? You. So if they only got $50,000 property damage coverage, you got another $250,000, brother. Mm-hmm. It's coming out your pocket, or you're going to have to call your insurance company. And if you don't have a commercial policy, done. Does that make sense? So we got to make sure that we keep ourselves away from these headaches, and we got to make sure that we doing our part as a business to keep ourselves together. Man, I ain't letting that shit go. Sometimes our money, we make more money with our cars sitting than going out. Mm-hmm. So sometimes I'm cool with them sitting. So we had a conversation too. We used to actually offer insurance, right? We used to offer insurance to people to where they can take the car and then get our insurance. But what happened was you'll run into a problem where we're taking too much liability, and the insurance company factors that in on our premium. So instead of doing that, everybody has to have transferable insurance or the cars don't go out. I'm cool with that. Does that make sense? And that's okay. If you get less customers, that's fine. We're going to keep the cars longer. The cars maintain their equity. They maintain their worth because it's all about mileage and about the condition of the car. We keep the cars in great condition, no accidents, no damages. We sell a car right now. They're not making these cars like they were, so they're worth a lot more. A couple years ago, I bought a Lamborghini for like $145. That same Lamborghini goes for like $240 right now. So that's more than almost $100,000 mock-up. I'm okay with leaving my equity in that whip, and when it's time to sell it, I sell it or go get another car with another the high equity in the whip. So you know about that. So what's one of the worst accidents you've seen?
The worst accident, it happened with two of our cars actually. Who just two people just happened to rent from us that knew each other. So one was pulled over on the side of the road. I guess they were all going to the same club together, and the other car tried to get over. While they was attempting to get over, they ran into the back of the car. They totaled this car, but they hit this car so hard that it hit our other car. So now we got two cars in the same accident. And it's both of our cars. One totaled, one damaged, and it was a BMW i8, so it was damaged for a while because it take a lot of time for them parts to get here. Yeah, so that was probably the worst one that we seen.
Yeah, that was pretty bad. I remember when I first got remember the first i8 I ever bought? Years ago. The first i8 I ever bought, I had it for like a couple of weeks, and then I remember it was an attorney. It was like what are the attorneys that do the accidents? An accident attorney. It was an accident attorney. She took my i8 out the rip.
Oh, yeah.
She was gone for like 10 minutes. Crashed that joint on the highway. Crashed it on the highway, and that's how I learned a lesson about having a tread def reader.
Tread def reader, yep.
And that's what literally makes me become an expert in when it comes to this rental car space, because I've been through these L's. So because this lady said that, I think the tires was bald, because she said that, not because the car was brand new. They just mounted the tires up at the Toyota dealership where I bought it from. Literally, brand new crispy whip. She smashed that joint, and because she said, I think the tires bald, that made them investigate. And when they investigated, because I didn't take a picture with a tread def reader, even though I went to go get those tires
Same
tread
tires.
def red, and I sent it into them. They said, well, we just think because the pictures don't look like they on the tread def reader, and we're gonna go with what she said, that they was bald, and that's why the accident happened. We can't pay for it. We know that's not what you wanted to hear, but it is what it is. So now I got to figure out how to get that covered. And me, that's how I learned about the diminished value claims. I learned about permissible drivers. I learned about how Toro's back end works. I learned about tread depth readers, and I learned to always make sure I take those before and after trips. Now, the key to that bar is being able to learn from your mistakes.
Right.
You know, some people think they call L's losses, but they really just lessons. So you got to take them. It takes L's to get to the M's.
Yeah,
and ever since that, I was learning to get to the M's because I learned those rules.
And that got us step off of Toro though. So we was on Toro, and you know everybody get on Toro because of their insurance coverage, and they think that they cover it. But Toro doesn't. They taking a huge risk providing insurance for everybody. So they don't want to pay out all these claims that people make, and you got to imagine the amount of claims that they get for the amount of cars that they run out. You know what I mean? So they take precautions so they don't have to pay things. Just by a simple thing like a person just saying that the tires may have been bald when they wasn't. They'll take that into consideration and just delete your whole claim.
Right. It's similar to like Uber, man. So you got fired from Uber.
Right.
You know, so if me and my brother used to drive Uber and Lyft 16 hours a day, 7 days a week. We was trapping hard about it. We was making a lot of money. He had the Honda Accord. No, you had the Ford Fusion,
Yeah.
and I had the Toyota Prius, and we was all over the city, dropping off Uber, picking up Uber, whatever. So long story short, the same thing kind of goes with that type of platform like Uber and it's Toro. It's like they don't own any of the cars, but they control them. So they can control your fate. This is why I teach the rental car game the way I teach it. I show you that you can do Toro, you can do hire car, you can do get around, you can do fetch truck, but you also can get your rental car license and do that shit privately yourself because I don't want you to depend on only the apps, right? So the cool thing about that was when you was working for Uber, they fired you, and Uber, they don't really investigate a claim
They use
from a guest. So if the guest were to ride in the car with my brother and say he was drinking and driving, I say he got a Red Bull in his cup holder, and they say, oh no, he had a Colt 45 in his cup holder. They're not going to investigate. They're not going to call him and say, hey, were you drinking? Are you okay? They're not going to ask two more customers that were in the car with him just to verify if he had that or not. They're going to just literally just delete him off the app. That's a lot of power for a guest, right? But what Lyft does, which is what I happen to be driving, Lyft is going to investigate. They care more about their drivers. They put more emphasis on it. They got a better community. The customers tend to be better as well. So in Lyft, they actually investigate. So if someone were to accuse me of that, they will investigate it, and then they will say, okay, cool, we deliberated. We talked to a few people. We're going to just, excuse it. Right. Sorry for the inconvenience. But Uber, they chop me off of there, and they end up chopping little bro off. So that's what led you to go back and work at Grady, right?
I believe so, yeah. I worked at Grady after that.
Yeah, because, that was our trap. That was our main trap for a minute while we was getting our feet together, right?
Yep.
So we did that, and then you started working there. And then how long was it before I said, all right, come work for the company?
You told me come work for the company full time. I almost did a year, I think, at Grady.
All right, I was like, all right, cool. I was like, so I'm building up the business now. So I cranked up the business by this time. And I'm starting to build momentum. I'm really starting to gain traction, and I'm making a lot of money. We was taking trips. We was already going to like LA. We was going to Miami, and I would like pay for the whole thing. And I was like, I'm making a lot of money. Like once I get to a certain amount of money, I'm going to just hire you full time. And then that's what I did. And I was like, all right, come work for the company. And then after that, we formed a partnership, and you just taking over the companies now. You doing all your own things now. And it's dope to see the growth, man. I like the Run Plays With Me thing. I think it was awesome, the little look away thing you did. You want to do it right now for them?
Hey, man, Run Plays With Me, not them, but me.
What is wrong with you, bro? How you come up with that?
I don't know. I needed something that, not only to catch people, but catch me, man. You know what I mean? It helps keep me in line. You know what I mean?
Okay, cool. So you got your ebook out, and you got a course coming out.
Yep.
And what's the course going to be about?
The course going to be on showing people how the right ways to start a business and how to what documents you need, what all you need to be straight from the get-go and not have to keep going back and getting this and regret not having it. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. That's important because I started my businesses wrong too. And I I started my business as an LLC, and then, as you know, because we had to fill the paperwork out to change like 3 of our companies to S corps.
Yep.
So it's the reasoning behind that, and that's the thing about it. Like, people don't really get taught the proper ways and what's the benefits of an S corp and what's the benefits of an LLC. But as we know, like with the S corp, I get to put myself on payroll, and then I get to take. I can pay less personal taxes because I made my company an S corp and put myself on payroll. So that's something that I had no idea about. So taking your course is going to help a lot of people with that and structuring up their businesses.
Yes,
and
indeed.
is it going to talk about trademarking? Is it going to talk about DBAs and things like that?
Yeah, it talks about trademarking, being on the federal level, DBAs being on the county level. It teaches you what each one means and what you need to use and how to use them, actually. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, and that's important. So you on my show, you my brother, so I know you're going to give all of my followers a motherfucking discount code. Can you do that?
Of course.
How much, though?
How much? 20%.
20%? I'll take it. So can you make a discount code called No Fluff?
I could.
So cool. We got the discount code, 20% off. Use the No Fluff discount code. Make sure when y'all see this episode, y'all click the link below. Go ahead and sign up for it so y'all can start y'all businesses right now in 2022 so we can get to this money. And what's your Instagram? Because I said it like 40 times, but I want to make sure they know how to spell it and what it is exactly.
Yeah. My Instagram is Run Plays With Me. It's spelled just like that. No hashtags or nothing else. You can find me right there.
Run Plays With Me. I'm going to drop it right here below the video. I'm going to show y'all where his course is. And y'all make sure y'all put that discount code in because you know what time it is. I'm going to look out for y'all so y'all can make sure y'all can be capitalizing on all these opportunities. So what about mentorship, bro? You taking people under your wing now?
Yeah, I'm about to start a mentorship. I'm going to start probably in 2 months and get it started on.
Okay, cool. Okay, dope, man. Well, shit, give them a discount for that, too.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I got you.
All right, this lit. So anything you want to leave them with? Any tips you want to give them real quick before we go?
Hey, you always got to have an extra strategy, especially dealing with these cars. A lot of, like he said earlier in the episode, is the perfect time to sell your cars. I do know that Algo Nation is giving out the most money for any cars that you're selling right now. You can hit them up. And the good thing about them is you don't have to leave your house to do it. They'll come pick your car up from your front door and take it, have a check in hand when they pick it up.
Yo, so you sold your Charger?
I did. I just sold it recently.
Right. So, and they came and picked it up from the crib.
Came pick it up from the crib. It was a smooth, experience. And they give you way more money, man. I checked with other companies before I did theirs, and they gave the most. And they claiming that they get the most anyway, and they living up to that.
That's dope. That was the bar from the Kid Run Plays With Me. This your boy Pushmanmitch. This was another episode of the No Fluff Podcast. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and make sure you share this shit, man. Stop being so selfish. We out of here, man. Next week with it.
All these whips, I feel like Mitch.